Guidelines for air passengers. From origin to airport, do's. Follow the norms. Social distancing and minimum touch. Agreeing to the self-declaration form and registering on Arogya Setu app. Digital payments and use of authorized taxis. Baggage limitations. Only one check-in bag and one cabin bag allowed. Vulnerable persons such as very elderly, pregnant ladies, passengers with ailments are advised to avoid air travel. Ensure web check-in and obtain a boarding pass. Passenger to download the baggage tag, baggage identification number, print it and affix it on the bag at a prominent place. In case the passenger is not able to print the baggage tag, then he or she should mention the PNR number and his or her name on a thick piece of paper and affix it or tag it with a strong string. Before entering the terminal, passenger to ensure that he or she is wearing a mask. Passenger to report at the airport as per revised reporting time, that is D to Rs. Passenger to travel in an authorized taxi personal vehicle following the norms specified by MHA. During transit to airport, the passenger should take all precautions to prevent infection. Passenger to certify the status of his or her health through the Arogya Setu app or a self-declaration form. From origin to airport, don'ts. Passenger should not reach the airport late. Passenger should not travel if he or she is staying in a containment zone. Passenger should not travel if he or she has been tested positive for COVID-19. Important instructions for air passengers. From origin to airport. If a passenger who is not permitted to fly undertakes an air journey, he or she shall be liable for penal action. The passenger shall give a declaration to the following effect: I am or we are not residing in any containment zone. I am or we are not suffering from any fever, cough, any respiratory distress. I am or we are not under quarantine. If I or we develop any of the above mentioned symptoms, I or we shall contact the concerned health authorities immediately. I or we have not tested COVID-19 positive. I or we are eligible to travel as per the extant norms. I shall make my mobile number, contact details available to the airlines whenever required by them. I understand that if I undertake the air journey without meeting the eligibility criteria, I would be liable to penal action. I or we undertake to adhere to the health protocol prescribed by the destination state or UT. The airlines shall ensure that the boarding pass is issued only after the passenger confirms to the above declaration. In case of a PNR having more than one passenger, the declaration would be deemed to be covering all the passengers mentioned in the PNR. At the airport, passengers should continue to wear masks throughout the journey. Passenger to get down from the vehicle with the face mask on and with required documents or e-documents. Passenger to arrive at the thermal screening facility near the entry gate. Passenger to get himself or herself checked for temperature and display the status of Arogya Setu app to the staff at the entry gate. In case of non-availability of Arogya Setu, passenger should be facilitated to go to a counter provided by the airport where Arogya Setu app can be downloaded. Passenger to show his or her identity card, the boarding pass, e-boarding pass to the CISF staff at the entry gate. Passenger to proceed to the baggage drop counter and show his or her PNR to the staff. Avoid using baggage trolley as far as possible. An electronic receipt shall be sent to the passenger. Passenger to adhere to the social distancing which would be specified at the airports through markings like circle, square or tensor barrier. Passenger to complete the check-in procedure and baggage drop at least 60 minutes before departure. At security check-in, arrangements have been made at airports to guide passengers to walk through the pre-embarkation security screening. Passenger to follow the directions as announced by the authorities and divest of all metal on the body to facilitate the security screening. Passenger to bring only one hand luggage as per specified size allowed by the airlines. Passenger to cooperate with security staff by following the instructions for his or her own safety and security. Security hold area. Passenger to proceed to security hold area after security screening. While waiting in the security hold area, passenger to maintain social distancing and sanitization protocols. Chairs marked not for use should not be occupied. While going around F&B, retail outlets, etc., passenger should be aware of the social distancing and maintain hygiene. Also, he or she should be aware of the locations where sanitizers would be made available. Passenger to dispose of all the biohazardous material like used masks, gloves, tissues, etc. in the yellow-colored disposable bins or bags placed at strategic locations at the airport. While boarding, passengers to be attentive towards various communication material displayed at the airport about various health advisories relating to pre-boarding and during the flight precautions. Passengers to collect the safety kit, 3-layered surgical mask and sanitizer from the airlines near the boarding gate. Passengers to wear mask and sanitize his or her hands before proceeding to the boarding gate for scanning of the boarding pass. Passengers to be attentive towards boarding announcements and reach the boarding queue by following social distancing. Display of identity cards by passengers is a must, and check-in of the boarding pass would be done by the passenger by self-scanning of e-boarding pass. Inside the aircraft, during the flight, passengers to strictly follow hygiene and sanitation. Face-to-face interaction to be minimized. Passenger to minimize the use of toilets and avoid any non-essential movement in the aisles. No queuing at the toilets, and only one companion for children and the elderly would be allowed. No meal service in the aircraft. Water bottle to be made available in the galley area or on the seats. Eatables not to be consumed during the flight. No newspaper, magazine will be available. No onboard sale of any item. If the passenger feels uncomfortable, fatigued, or has respiratory distress, it should be brought to the immediate notice of the crew. Airport to destination. Arrival. The disembarkation from the airlines would be sequential. To disembark, passengers to strictly follow the instructions of the crew. Social distance, sanitation should be maintained at the arrival gate, aero bridges, coaches, jet ladders, ramps, etc. Trolleys in the arrival area to be used sparingly. Airport to destination. Baggage collection. Passenger to wait at the baggage hold area till the baggage arrives in batches. Transit passengers will not be allowed to come out of the transit area. Airport to destination. Exit from airport. Passengers to hire only authorized taxis from the airport. Passengers to follow social distancing and hygiene while traveling in any mode of transportation. On arrival at the destination, passengers to adhere to health protocols as prescribed by the destination state or union territory. For any queries, please refer to www.civilaviation.gov.in or mohfw.gov.in or helpline 1075 toll free. More details at corona.mygov.in.